Hello there, and welcome to this. Try to get it on at 10 exactly. It's really 10:01, but Old Crow versus Wild Turkey Taste Challenge. Old Crow. This is a 1977 bottle. It was previously unopened. As you can see, I drank some of it, and other people have drank some of it. They wanted to try it, so I let them try it. Distilled in 1969, bottled in 1977, bottled in bond, 100 proof. I would have started exactly 10, but I had trouble getting the tape to stick on the bottom of one of them. I had to put some more tape. It's got the green stamp, which is the bottled and bond stamp, up until those were no longer required in 1983. And the bottle and bond stamp is nice because it gives you the distilling date and the bottling date. Fall 1969, bottled in spring 1977. Okay. There's a little chip right there, like something had hit it. I don't know if it got hit in his cabinet or if I hit it. Might have bashed it up against something. I don't recall doing that, but I guess I did. Then the Wild Turkey, you might have seen the fiasco I had with that, where the cork was broken. It was dry rotted. This was distilled in 1975 and bottled in 1983. 101 proof, also from Kentucky. This was a Pernod Ricard brand in 1980. Today it's Campari Group. Campari Group. This was the original company back in 1977, W.A. Gaines, but they were bought out in 1987 by the Beam Company, Jim Beam, distilling, now part of Beam Suntory. All right. See if we get any comments. They're both very deep amber, okay? These ones that are heavily aged, I find they're very deep amber, a lot of alcohol eggs around the glass. Somebody asked me, what does that mean, alcohol eggs? And it's just when it's switched around in the glass and it starts to drip down. It looks like little straight lines of alcohol dripping down. You'll see that in stronger wines also. So dark amber. The purpose of this is just to see which is better. I'm not going to put a big focus on trying to tell which is which because I don't have nearly enough experience with either one of these, okay, to try to tell which is which. I want to save some of that Old Crow so I can do a taste challenge with the new Old Crow, the 1987 recipe, 87 to present recipe. And somebody said that that is really just a Beam. I've never seen any official confirmation of that, but people are saying it's just a Jim Beam bourbon whiskey under the Old Crow label. There's also an Old Crow Reserve, 6-year aged. All right, well, anyway, now there's a whole plethora of Wild Turkey brands. I've had none. There is an 8-year, which I guess is very close to this one, this particular one, 8-year aged. Okay, so let's check it out. Don't see any comments. I'm off of work today, but a lot of people are at work. Okay, don't have time to be playing around with this. I can understand that. Okay, so this first one in my left hand is very rich. It's a strong alcohol note, though. It hits you up. It has a lot of dried fruit, roses, rose water, maybe. It's strong, though. Holy moly. Okay, this one here in my right hand. It's not nearly as boozy. There's, of course, alcohol, but it's just not a nose rush of it. It's just not like filling your nostrils with it. It's more mellow. Some sweetness, some sugariness, some dried fruit, vanilla, maybe a little woodiness, a little wood, barrel wood. This one over here and to the left of my left, you're right, but it's more of a dried flowers thing. Maybe some candy notes are starting to develop, like candy syrup, candy sugar, I mean to say. Oh, let's go with the taste. So I'll go with the one in the left hand first, and I don't know which is which. I've mixed them up. But like I say, telling them apart is not paramount. I'm just curious which one is better. So this one, I need to do that. I really need, no, that's the wrong word. Want. None of these things that I'm doing here involves needs. They're all wants. I need to eat lunch today because I'm hungry. A certain thing, because that's a preference. Okay. It just has this dried fruit, a strong dried fruit. And some pepperiness, which is like rye. I think Wild Turkey uses a lot of rye relative to what other bourbons do. Maybe. This one has more vanilla. There's more woodiness, maybe from the charred new oak barrels. Well, they were new in 1969. So there's more of a char here. Some citrus. There is some of that moldiness coming in that I got with the Jim Beam. That Jim Beam had an odd, I'm not say bad, but an odd moldy character. More than an aged dry wood. And I went and bought a proper bottle of that. Okay, I bought a regular 750 milliliter bottle for $13.99 at Mathern's, because pouring it out of that little plastic bottle, it just did not have any kind of appeal. I mean, what was in the bottle was fine, but it just seemed wrong. And everybody's always talking about Beam, Jim Beam. So I said I could buy a regular size bottle and work with that for years, like as with these. But I don't think these are going to last years, months. They will never make it out of 2017, God willing. That I would be healthy and able to continue these examinations. I will exhaust those. But I need to get to that once again, want to get to that. When I say need in the context of these videos, not need as an actual something I need to do, but I want to get to the VSOP and do a standalone recorded video, or like I do on the camera, the Sony camera, the Canon camera, sorry, the new Canon, and then do a side-by-side taste challenge with the Hennessy Privilege VSOP. I'm curious to see how that, if an American VSOP brandy can hold up against the Hennessy French cognac brandy. We'll see. Especially since the Parmesan VSOP is a good deal cheaper, like 50% cheaper, okay? At least 50% cheaper. So, okay, which one of these is better tasting? They're very alcoholic, okay? And I think some people say bourbon, they don't like bourbon because it's harsh. It's just like, isn't that what people say? I've heard people say bourbon. Oh, now a friend of mine, she makes the mint juleps. She's got her certain bourbon she's got to buy. Seems to me that the beam was more mellow than this. I don't say it's flavorful. Not as flavorful. Not as bold. Maybe that's what I mean. But maybe more enjoyable, more mellow, more relaxing. These are a little much. Now you might say, now how can that be? They're aged 8 years. That's made them so mellow and mild. You know, you're talking about 50% alcohol versus 40% over there on that in that other room with the beam, Jim Beam. So I'm not sure about that. If it's necessarily better. But the Old Crow 40-year-old bottle, distilled 1969, you cannot argue against its memorable. These two here are very memorable. Memorable. I really think the one here on my right hand is the Old Crow. It just has a much stronger vanilla, oaky thing. And then the one over here, maybe it's got a little cork flavor since the cork fell in it and I had to filter it out, screen it out, and I don't know if I got it all out. I don't know. That was a fiasco, the way the cork just collapsed like it was the consistency of clay. That has to be taken into account. It just happened. I mean, it was dry rotted. It wasn't Bobby's fault. He didn't know. I went to twist it and the whole thing just came off. Just, there's nothing there. Oh, well. So I think this is the Wild Turkey in my left hand. You're right. And I don't think it's as good as the Old Crow. They're both kind of heavy, though. Kind of harsh, a little, like you might say, too bold. Oh, you can feel it in the chest. It's just, it's, honestly, I would think 95% of the people that drink this go back in a time machine to 1983. They had a 5-year-old bottle, a 6-year-old bottle of the Old Crow here, and a brand new bottle of the Wild Turkey. They were not doing this, putting it at room temperature in a glass and drinking it, sipping it. They were at least at a minimum, and I would say that's the case today, using ice cubes. Secondly, making mixed drinks with it. I really believe that. Most people I know that drink liquor make mixed drinks. And how many people do I know that make mixed drinks and drink liquor? Oh, a whole lot of people. Not necessarily myself. I'm more of a, as you know, beer drinker. And yeah, I play around with wine. Yeah, basically that's the case. Play around with it. All right, so we'll put those cubes in there for what that's worth. It may not be worth much of anything, but it might take the edge off of it because these got a lot of edginess. Gabrielle Salai says, hi, good morning. Well, hello, good morning to you, Gabrielle. That's a good name because it was an Archangel Gabriel, the Archangel. And of course the Annunciation. But anyway, yeah, takes a little off the edge, takes a little of the edge off. And I don't like ice water at all. I never drink ice water unless I go to a restaurant and they just pour it and it's there, you know. I just drink room temperature water. I prefer it. That may be a little eccentric or unusual. My grandfather was the same way. I always drink my paternal grandfather always drink room temperature water. Okay, so let's do the reveal. I'm going to say this is wild turkey here. Now, I could be wrong, obviously. I've been wrong many times. I've probably been wrong a majority of the times I've done taste challenges with beer and liquor. I bet you I've been wrong a majority of the time, especially with the regular beers. Pay no mind to that man behind the curtain. Go about your business. Don't watch any more of this. That is the old crow. And I thought it was wild turkey. Oh my goodness. You damnable ice cube coming out that glass like that. Okay, so you got to live with what you say. I said I preferred the wild turkey. I said I preferred this one. I thought it was smoother and more mellow than the old crow, but I thought it was old crow when I said it, but I got to stick by what I said. The tag just came off. Wild turkey. So you think you know, but you don't know, but you will know. You can't say you'll never know. You'll know when you test it out. All right, so I have to live with that. My next door neighbor, he helped me strain it, and he was drinking some of the wild turkey, and he was saying, wow, that's really, he's using a power saw, he's cutting wood, you know. So he took a break for midday meal, and he was saying, oh, I think that thing was really get me like, oh. He took a pretty good big glass of it. He said, I don't know, that stuff was, he didn't say bad, but it was a little tough. In the morning, I would say that is in the drinker. I wouldn't recommend it, but these things are relative because I woke up at 3:45, so at 10:20 Central Time, that's deep into the day in my case, and we're only talking about a minimal amounts. This is not like a lot of liquor that I drink anyway. Some people don't have a stop button. They don't know when to say when. Okay, so hey, it's an interesting thing. And don't forget, I did the Canadian Club versus McCormick blended whiskey, and the McCormick beat it, which was stunning. So that McCormick is still in the race. except there's only about 3 ounces left. So the race will end on that by default. But that was a shock, because you would think there's no way an 80-20 American blended whiskey could ever compete with 100% Canadian whiskey. I mean, it's blended, but it's all whiskeys being blended together. That's the Canadian way. They take all these whiskeys and blend them. But it happened. Okay, so thank you for watching this video production. You never know, the old crow wins. So what can you do? You don't worry about it. All right, thank you for watching this video production.